Right, good morning everybody. Great to have you with us this morning. Firstly, I'd just like to say it's fantastic to have all of you from here right with us this morning. I'm really looking forward to this assembly. This assembly links very much with our commitment programme that we've got at Beacon Hill Academy, which obviously rewards our learners for getting involved with as many things outside of the curriculum area as they possibly can, and gives our learners the opportunity to experience many different things and broaden their horizons. We're very fortunate today to be joined by Mrs Foster, Deputy Lieutenant of the West Midlands, who's going to be doing our assembly this morning. So without further ado, Mrs Foster, I'll hand over to you to take over.
Thank you
no
very
problem.
much. Thank you. Good morning everybody. It is absolutely my pleasure to be with you all today. Yes, I am Deputy Lieutenant for the West Midlands. Usually I would prefer not to talk about myself, but I know one of the things that your school is particularly keen that I do is to explain the role of the Lord Lieutenant's office throughout the country. So Her Majesty the Queen is represented throughout the country by her Lord Lieutenants, and each Lord Lieutenant has a county. In our case it is a region, the West Midlands, and clearly it is difficult for him. We have a male Lord Lieutenant at the moment. In Bristol they have a female Lord Lieutenant, but it is clearly difficult for the Lord Lieutenant to be supporting and in knowledge of such a big community as the West Midlands on his own. So he has a group of Deputy Lieutenants such as myself, and I have been asked to concentrate on this borough, the borough of Dudley, and in particular to support young people and education, and I'm really, really pleased to do that, and hence my visit to your school today. So thank you for having me, and thank you for making me so welcome. The role of the Lord Lieutenant is, as I said, to represent Her Majesty the Queen. So whenever you see or hear of the Lord Lieutenant or the Vice Lieutenant or the Deputy Lieutenants being in the community, we are in the community to represent Her Majesty the Queen. She wants to know what's going on in the community. She wants to know what young people are doing, what is happening in education, what is happening in schools. And so that is what we do. And everything that we see and hear when we are out and about on our duties ultimately makes its way back to Her Majesty the Queen. So please be assured it is a big occasion for your school today. You'll see that I've got an insignia on today. Red rose. If there was a male Deputy Lieutenant here today, he would have a full uniform on and a sword. Because female, the role of the Lord Lieutenant goes right back to Tudor times, and so it's evolving, and female Deputy Lieutenants are fairly new. So we are getting there. Diversity is coming into this fantastic role, and we haven't yet designed a uniform for female Deputy Lieutenants. So I have this very lovely insignia, which comes from the Queen's jeweller, one of the Queen's jewellers in London. They're handmade for us. So I'm very proud to wear this. So in March last year, the Lord Lieutenant approached me, my name having been given to him by two Deputy Lieutenants, and he approached me and asked me if I would take up the role of Deputy Lieutenant. And the background to that was that for 17 years, in addition to running my own business, which was in Stourbridge, for 17 years I have supported the leading youth charity, the Prince's Trust. And I've done that because young people are a passion of mine. Young people are the future of our country, they're the future of our Commonwealth, and they're the future of the world. And the Prince's Trust, for those of you who may not know, supports young people who have difficulties across the spectrum. They may have touched criminality, they may be the main carer at home, they may not fit in very well at school and need an alternative education system, but they may also be young people who look to start their own business, and the Prince's Trust can help with all these things. And so for 17 years as a volunteer, I have worked with the Prince's Trust. And because of that, the Lord Lieutenant thought that this role that I'm showing you today, demonstrating you today, would fit really well. I love that work. I give my time freely, but I also get an awful lot back, and I think that is something which should be recognised. If you give, you get back. Treat people kindly, they will be kind to you. Treat people with respect, they will respect you. But you must respect yourself as well. Respect your community, and it will be a lovely place to live in. It will thrive. We all have to do our part to make our community somewhere we want to live. So, one of the other things that I do as a volunteer is to support a charity called Maggie's Cancer Care. That's fairly new to me. Again, I was invited to join that because I think the way I communicate with people illustrates that I want to be part of the community. And perhaps that's another message to you today, how you communicate. It's not necessarily what you say, but how you say it. Say it with your eyes, say it with a smile, be kind to people, say good morning to people. If you're being served in the shop, say thank you. All these things indicate the person that you are and open up opportunities for you to be part of your community. So, when I go out and about through schools, this is what I'm looking to see. What is happening in that school? Where is the respect? I see a lovely, tidy, clean classroom. I saw the corridors were nice and clean and tidy. Fabulous materials on the wall. And everything is here for you to engage with school. I didn't engage with school. I was a naughty girl. I went to a grammar school and I didn't like being told what to do and when to do it. And so I came out of school, yes, with some decent results, but not the results that I could have come out with. I learnt in a different way. I learnt by making mistakes. Nothing wrong with that. I think some of the best lessons in life are learnt by making mistakes, but you have to recognise for yourself that you've made those mistakes. And so I had a very different journey through my career. I joined it was Birmingham City Police Cadets at that time, where I met my now husband. But I realised it wasn't for me. Richard, you see standing here, is a great friend of mine. He drives me. He volunteers. That's part of his giving to the community. Richard served in Her Majesty's forces. He was in the army. And when he left the army, he joined West Midlands Police and was an expert firearms officer. He's retired now, but he still gives back to his country. So my career was very different. I left Birmingham City Police, but only when I found another job. We didn't leave one job until we got another job. And I found a job in insurance, a clerical job. But I soon realised that insurance was something I would love. And I had a career of 50 years in insurance and ultimately bought the majority share in the insurance broking business in Stourbridge that I was working in, became the owner of that business, became one of the very first companies to achieve chartered status with our professional body, the Chartered Insurance Institute. And I remain aligned with that organisation, and then I sold my business. I'm a non-executive director at the Chartered Insurance Institute. And I've had a very, very fulfilling career. So again, keep your mind open. Be open-minded, exchange opinions, value other people's opinions, and learn as you go through life. And be flexible to change direction if an opportunity comes your way. But in order to do that, you need to be a rounded person. Somebody who has some academic results, somebody who can communicate, somebody who can be kind, is respectful, and who does absolutely understand that differing opinions make the world go round. Can you just imagine if everybody in this room had the same opinion? It wouldn't lead to very much change, would it? There wouldn't be too much versatility or flexibility. It would all effectively become clones. So, community service. In a little while I'm going to celebrate a young person in this room. But before I do, I'd just like to explain how the Young Active Citizen Award came about. Our Lord Lieutenant last year when the pandemic was in full flight, and we're all still obviously affected by the pandemic, but he realised that the National Honours Scheme in this country rewards adults. There isn't any means to reward young people, and yet young people have a huge contribution to play in the community. And so he created the Young Active Citizen Award. And it's an annual award now, so we've just come through the first year. And we asked schools to identify young people who had gone over and above in their community to support their community during the pandemic, who had perhaps extended their usual skills and gone into that difficult zone, that difficult space. But they volunteered that, and they had made an impact on their community. And as I said to you, in a moment, I'm going to present an award to a young person for that endeavour last year. We've moved on now to the Young Active Citizen Award for this year. And so we've written to your school and asked you to identify young people who are using their artistic skills in the community to strengthen their local communities and cultural activity in the community, and to create a legacy through culture. So that could be writing poetry, it could be through traditional artwork of painting or sculpture or glasswork, it could be through music or drama. And the reason that we've chosen culture this year is to support Coventry, which is part of the West Midlands. As you will probably know, Coventry is the city of culture this year. So perhaps those of you who have an interest in culture and art will think about that. The other thing I want to just briefly speak to you about, seeing the beautiful green spaces you have here. It is next year we will be celebrating Her Majesty the Queen's Platinum anniversary, so 70 years of her coming to the throne. And she doesn't want any gifts. Her gift, she would like to be a green canopy, trees. And so she is asking everybody who can to plant a tree. And for schools, there are 3 million trees that you can access for free. And it is, the Queen asks that young people plant those trees in their educational establishment. So here, wouldn't it be wonderful at Beacon Hill to have a tree? And I will ensure that you have all the information to enable you to participate in that. So, without any further ado, could I please ask James to come forward? James, just stand a distance from us, we're in that world. Very well done. I know that you cycled and cycled and cycled until you achieved donations of £1,000. That is a terrific achievement, and believe me, will make a lot of difference to people who are supported by your chosen charity, which is Mind. And I know about Mind. I support a cousin who has lifelong difficulties, having been born as a cerebral palsy baby, and she's got educational needs and all sorts of other health issues. And Mind is the charity I go to for advice about her. So thank you so much. Very, very well done. And this is a perfect example of somebody thinking about their community and doing something to support that community. I'd love to shake hands with you. We can't, can we? So you take that corner and I'll take this corner. And this is the certificate from the Lord Lieutenant to recognise James' contribution to his community. Thank you, James. Very well done. And I hope you will go on to continue to support your community. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Well done, James. A really fantastic effort. £1,000 is incredible, and I'm sure you'll all be very proud of James, as we are. A really big thank you to the Deputy Lieutenant for coming in this morning for our assembly and for explaining the work of the Lieutenancy, but also for awarding James that special award. I think we're very keen on the Jubilee Awards and the Jubilee project, and of course we'll be planting our trees next year, and we're very, very grateful for you coming in this morning, so thank you ever so much. Can we have a big round of applause as well? And I think what we're celebrating this morning is what our core values are as a school. About dreaming big, about respecting the world, and James has shown that through his actions and his charitable work, and those are the things we want all our learners to encourage, and those are the things that we want all of you to do and to take part in as active citizens of this community. Well done and have a good morning. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.